This is my review of the FlashForge Finder 1.0 and 2.0. Hey guys, I have around 3,000 hours on one printer, 800 on the other one, and I think less than 400 on the other one. And this is not a sponsor in any way, shape or form. They are not telling me to say anything or telling me to not say anything. So this is my full review from the heart. I've had these printers for a while now. I've been wanting to do this review for a pretty long time, but I wanted to have a couple thousand hours before I did that. First of all, I want to say the printers work amazingly overall. The one with 3,000 hours has only just broken down. It's already back up and fixed. The thermocouple basically broke, but that's standard on every printer. Every thermocouple is going to die, like in your boiler or whatever. And that was like a £40 fix, and it's already operational and running fully again. So some good points for the 2.0, the red one in the videos you'll be seeing. They all have pretty sturdy frames, like you're not going to be able to shake them. You could probably shake them whilst they're printing and they won't lose any accuracy. They have a 0.4mm nozzle, so it's fairly standard for every printer to have a 0.4mm nozzle because it's got a decent amount of speed but also a good amount of accuracy. It takes PLA, and mostly PLA only. It has 240 degrees it can go up to, so it can easily pass through PLA and maybe some other plastics if you try and push through it with the settings. Again, strong as hell, sturdy, long lasting, as you can clearly see by the 3,000 hours and ongoing from just only one repair. The thing hardly clogs. I mean, I've had all these printers, and collectively for all those hours it's probably only clogged like 5 times on each printer, compared to the Endo, which is clogged like 10 times, and I've probably got not even 1/10 of that many hours. As the Ender 3 Max, by the way, or one's about to finish. Has its own filament holder, which can be good if you buy the right filament size for it, otherwise it won't fit in. Yeah, for the 2.0 it has USB. For the 2.0 it has USB, Wi-Fi, and it can also be cabled straight into your PC, which makes it really nice and easy to just send prints across. The printing is fast, just by default. Of course that depends on what setting you're actually going to be doing. Like if I go into FlashForge here, this is from my custom SMG, probably the most boring piece you could have done. But you can see the speed is, it says it's only 45mm a second, but I swear it's going faster than that because I've got the Endo going on like 100mm a second, like rapid as hell, but the FlashForge will always finish faster. So I think that's just generically a lie, because it's able to go way faster than what it's doing, just because of its sturdy frame and it's not going to wobble about. The layer height is, on the standard, is 0.18, which this is what I normally use for everything, just the standard one, because it gives a good accuracy, good speed. If I go to low, it can print even faster. The layer height is even thicker, so you're not going to be getting as much accuracy, but you'll get that print out really, really quick. Of course, you can go to high, which is a 0.08mm layer height, which is going to give you a lot of accuracy, but of course it's going to be going actually a little bit faster in this case, but it's going to be doing a lot more layers, so it's going to take longer, way more in general. Its accuracy is actually pretty good. I've done some calibration cubes, stuff like that. Yeah, they're all pretty close. I would easily class that as you could use it for not stuff like what I do, it's like guns and stuff. Like they still need to be really accurate, the stuff I do, but if you're doing it for a more industrial typey thing, then yeah, you could definitely go away with that. The platform is removable, as well as the adhesion on it is actually fairly well done. Putting some Pritt stick glue on there does help a lot, and even if you break that blue film on top of the platform, there is just a glass plate you can use, so you can just peel off that blue film if you scuff it up or something like that, and you can print straight on the glass as long as there is glue in it. You have to have glue on that glass, otherwise it will not stick at all. It's fairly cheap. It's only around £200 to £400 for the version 2 to version 1. So it's pretty cheap for what you're getting for it. And out of the box, it just functions. Especially, you're paying for something that just functions when you get it. You take it out of the box, doesn't take any assembly at all. It's just there and it functions. And it gives you good prints. There's no extra necessary work, there's no tuning you have to do for it to work. It just gives you good prints. I don't know how. The internal storage is around 8 gigs. I think it is 8 gigs. which is good for repeating prints if you don't want to just keep it on a USB stick or on the version 1 an SD card. It has a great UI, it's very responsive. I'll show a video here. It's very responsive, you click it and it actually happens, unlike the Ender 3 where you try and turn the nozzle, or you try and turn the dial and it goes down like 5 when you've only done it once. It's actually responsive. And the software is super easy to understand. Of course, you have your move, your rotate, your scale, and your cut. So you can cut through multiple axes. You can do it yourself if you want. If I want to just trim off the top, you can just do that. Bam, trimmed off the top. Move around, stuff like that, rotate, and even just during the printing stuff, it's super easy to understand. Like, even if you don't have any understanding of what any of these settings mean, it doesn't matter, you don't even need that. All you need is these. It's literally it, because they're just automatically great, and they're great and they work. You can use Cura and stuff like this. I haven't really dived into any of the other ones, but I've used Cura a lot for the Ender, and you can use that. And if you want to get down to the real nitty and gritty stuff like I do on my Ender, then go for it. But for me, just doing print after print after print after print for orders, I couldn't have asked for a better machine. Maybe the Prusa one day, hopefully. Sponsor me. So I think that's mainly all the good points for the flash rollers. Like I said, the version 2.0 has USB, Wi-Fi, and cable. And one bad point for the version 1, and the version 1 only, which is the yellow one in my case, it only has an SD card. The version 1 only has an SD card, which sucks. The UI doesn't work nearly as good. It doesn't have any internal storage. That's mainly all the bad stuff for the version 1. So if you want to save a couple bucks, having to use an SD card, and you don't have, it doesn't really pick up as many files on an SD card compared to the version 2, which uses basically any other method. Yeah, just the UI isn't great for the version 1. Overall, it has all the printers, version 1 and 2, it has a fairly small platform, but if you're doing quick, fast stuff like that, you don't really want to have a huge platform anyway. It does not have a heated bed, so do not expect to do flexible filaments. Along with, I wouldn't really trust it doing flexible filaments anyway, especially getting to the nozzle in general and cleaning it and maintaining the actual nozzle assembly. It's kind of a pain in the ass compared to the Ender, which is very open. You just got to undo 2 screws and you're there. The extruder, oh yeah, sorry, this is another good point. The extruder is right above the nozzle, so it's got some pretty good accuracy of how much it's pushing out compared to the Ender, where it's on the other end of the machine and it's got to go through a pipe and then get to a nozzle. Because, back to the bad points, because the software is fairly limited, it means you're not able to go as far as some people would want to push it, including myself a lot of the time. I think another one's about to finish. And you can do that if you want with the generic software. You're not able to, but if you want to go to Cura or something like that, then you can push it more if you want. The leveling is kind of a bad and good thing, really. The leveling's fairly easy to understand, but when you do level it, it doesn't really go 100%. It has this little bit that comes down and it measures it, and then you just adjust the 3 cogs because you don't need 4. So Ender, stop putting 4 on your thing. You only need 3 to have a good XYZ access. But I tend to just have some sort of leveling print, and then I'll adjust it while it's printing. It seems to be the best way to level the machine. I find that with a lot of machines, though. I do the same thing with the Ender because I feel like all that auto leveling stuff is just pretty trash. And the last thing is, it's mostly just big and blocky. Trying to fit it next to each other, you can fit quite a few in, but because the USB and stuff is on the side of them, don't expect to get to that slot. Luckily, the red ones are Wi-Fi-able, so I'm able to just send it across or use its internal storage to put a print on. But the yellow one, the reason why it's not in the middle, because it would look a lot better, is because I've got to get to the SD card, because that's the only way into the machine that I can give it code. So overall, it's a great machine. I think it's easily worth the money you pay for it. The experience you get from it is amazing. It's the best learning machine I think you could possibly get on the market. Oh yeah, one thing that's also bad is it doesn't have a run out sensor. So if you run out of filament during a print, some printers will go beep 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 and then stop the print because it's got no more filament to use. This one does not have any of that, so make sure you have enough filament before you put a print on, because it will not stop itself from doing that. But overall, I think it's a good printer. I think the build platform could be maybe a little bit bigger, but as long as you have enough experience in CAD, stuff like that, in either Blender, 3ds Max, Fusion 360, all stuff like that, in slicing softwares, you can get away with printing some pretty big things. Like I printed this thing, which is the Ender Dragon from Minecraft. The Ender Dragon body is actually on the Ender, but I could have easily done that on the Flash Forge. It's literally over a meter long. I've printed the AK-47, the custom SMG. That's all on my store. Check that out in the description. That is all printed on the Enders. Well, not on the Enders, on the Flash Forges. And it is the Flash Forge Finder, by the way. Flash Forge Finder 1 and 2, version 1 and 2. Make sure you don't mess those up. But yeah, overall, it's a great printer. I think it can, to 99% of the people that will buy it, it will easily overtake their expectations. And I'm not getting paid to say that. If you want to, hook me up. But I'm not getting paid to say that. I'm not getting paid to say anything bad, good, negative, whatever. This is just from my experience of having these thousands of hours. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll be making a video soon, hopefully, if I remember. So, peace. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.